Okay, so SAGTA is the Geography Teachers Association, and we would like to help the geography teachers to get this right in a way which they might not have thought about. So the best way to do that, I think, is collaboration and to chat about it. So please, if you have any suggestions while we are talking, it would be really great if you do add in what you think. Obviously, I know a lot of you have your grade 12s going back to school this week coming. Good luck. I've been watching videos of how schools have set up their entrances, the sanitizing and everything, and I think it's going to take up a large part of the school day. So I'm pretty sure you're not going to have the amount of time you might have had. Okay, so that's the one thing. The other thing is, I think the students are a little bit nervous and unsure, and so yeah, I do wish you all the luck. I'm assuming we're going to be talking about motivation for students grade 8 to 11 more, because the grade 12s pretty much know they need to do the work and write the exam. So I think they've got a little bit of extra motivation, which has to focus them more. So these are some ideas that I've thought of, but I know that there's a lot more than this. I think in this time, summaries are pretty important, because I think the students don't necessarily feel that, some of them will feel overwhelmed to work through the textbook on their own. Okay, so my online experience is that students don't really want to read through the textbook themselves. They will if they have to, but it's quite daunting to a lot of them who can't study by themselves to suddenly now start reading piles and piles of information that they don't understand. So I think the summaries help them break it down, make it easier. And I think those are the parts that you would want to focus on, right? To be able to give them that information, or explain that, however you might be doing that online, via audio pieces or live streaming, however you decided. Obviously, for geography, going outside is awesome. Have any of you let your students go outside? Because as soon as they go outside, they get a different view of things and they want to do it. So if you go and look through the information on the SAGTA website under prep share, there's quite a lot of other stuff for them to do, which is nice. It's experiments, it's videos, links to interactive websites. There's games to play on the internet, which are all geography and make their brains work. So my motivation always to my students was, let's do this part of the work, understand it. So here are your key terms. Right, now let's go and play a game, or let's do an experiment and see how it all works together. And that kind of motivates them to get to that point, because who doesn't like going outside and doing an experiment? I mean, there's a lovely soil experiment. I don't know if any of you seen it, for grade 11. It's not hugely part of the syllabus, but it's a nice thing to do. And you're going to go make mud cakes and, like play with mud. So let's learn all about soil. Let's learn about how the soil moves, soil creep, everything else about mass movement if you want. All right, now let's go and play with some mud. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's like a way for us to get them, to motivate them to, you have to understand this work before we can do this, which is fun. Okay. Have you ever played Kahoot with your students? If they have phones, have you played Kahoot? I need to show you this. Can I tell you how well it works? Because I've played Kahoot with students that aren't even, they're not even in South Africa. So if I go here, you can go to Kahoot and you can go and play a game, and it doesn't matter where they are sitting. They can be in any place and you can do things. So these are Kahoots that I've set up previously. You're welcome to go and Google them. They're there and they can be used visible to everyone, so anyone can see them. So, for example, I did a few lessons on anticyclones, bergwinds, line thunderstorms, and cutoff lows. And I just asked 10 random questions to see if they were listening. They love it. They absolutely love it. They all have their phones there. They sign in. I tell them they can call themselves whatever they want, as long as it's a geography name. And then, so they call themselves high pressure or whatever. And then they play the game. And it's awesome because it's multiple choice and you can immediately see if they've been listening. Okay. it's really very, very easy to do this. So if you open it up, like I said, these are available. You can go and use them, but you can create your own one. It goes so easy, and it's not difficult to figure it out. You just create a little account. It's a free one, so it doesn't cost you anything. You'll choose your option. I always just go with the classic one. It's got some crazy music in the background, and they just love it. It's timed, and so you can set it for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, depending on how many questions you have. And so they enjoy that as well. And you can give feedback, you can use images here, and the information does get into the brain like that. Okay, so that's one of my suggestions as well, is I always used to say to them, right, we've got to get through this work. I would summarize it, I would tell them, explain it, and then I go, right, let's play a Kahoot. I wonder if you've been listening. Okay, right, now I need all of you to give some suggestions as well, because I know there's a lot more ways to keep your students interested. Anyone?
Has anybody used Edpuzzle?
Edpuzzle.
So here, I've been trying to use it. I haven't done too much, but I know the school I was at for the first term was really punting it. And I think it works quite well when you struggle with online connectivity, because the kids can access it on their phones. So you have a video clip, and at any stage you can freeze the frame and ask a question, and they can actually kind of answer it. I think they can answer it, or they can think about it. I found a lovely YouTube or video the other day, and that's what I wanted to do. So I linked in, but I noticed you've got to be a teacher at a school to actually get access. That's my bit, and I'd really like to experiment with it. So maybe somebody else could.
Yes. Well, if someone is at a school that can register, then that would be great if they can try it. Edpuzzle.
Edpuzzle. So it's using video clips and then putting questions at certain points, kind of directing the thought process to understanding concepts, or making them stop, think, brain check, and then carry on.
Yes, I think, Pam, I so agree with you there, that they need to stop, think, do we understand, and then carry on. That's always good. And unfortunately, I think, like Toby was saying, we don't get a lot of feedback from teaching online. So we can never really see if all the students are understanding and all the students are participating. Sorry, Celia? Okay, I didn't hear that. But I think we don't get that feedback, so we don't actually understand. I just wanted to point out to you here on the SAGTA website where this prep share is, if you do go into these, even in the English one, there's a lot of online resources. All of these have a lot of information here, but I think the nice one is the teacher tips and guidelines and the online resources. It gives you lists of websites, which gives you games, interactive websites, things like that. So I think using what people have already found is making your life a little bit easier. You can go look for it yourself as well, but these ones are really nice ones which teachers have already tried out. And then for those of you who are using Zoom, did you know that you can do a poll on Zoom? So I'm going to launch a poll now, okay? And I'm giving it to you. Can you see the questions and can you answer them? Do you enjoy interactive lessons? You need to click. Can you click on one of them? Please tell me you can click on one of them.
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. So see if you can answer those ones. But do you see, even just using Zoom, the minute I make you do this, you're all suddenly concentrating. Some of you have a smile if I can see you. Because you're like, ooh, I get to click something in the meeting. And I think that's what students want. So I had to just test this out with you and show you, but you enjoy it. They're going to love it. Okay, so even just using Zoom, you can do a poll. Oh, wow. 6 of
Yeah.
you have answered. Thank you.
I think it's awesome. It's awesome, Enka. Awesome.
I was just trying to
And
show you what you can do.
Yeah.
You
I
can
wanted to
also
say something.
check their participation and their.
Yeah. I also wanted to add that as soon as you give students anything interactive, they enjoy it. One site that I like using, I don't know the full name, but Rock Cycle Interactive. If you go to Rock Cycle Interactive, it has a lot of information. If let's say you're teaching grade 10, plate tectonics, you're teaching weathering and erosion, compacting and cementing, they've got glossary, they've got even built-in test that students can after your lesson. So they can do it as an exit, complete it online completely, and you get the final answer. Sorry, basically they're scoring how they did in your test. So yes, I was hoping that also even with SAGTA that we will move more into interactive kind of work. I've seen people designing websites and embedding their videos, embedding their PowerPoints in the site that any teacher in geography, but normally is people overseas, it's not necessarily localized, so that we have a site that we can go to, that we are willing to all share these amazing resources so that we can move into that platform. But keeping students motivated, it's tough for us.
Yes.
So first, we are also using WhatsApp, like Pam said, we're also using WhatsApp. So one thing that I've started doing with WhatsApp is that if I give them a task and activity, so you will give them a task and activity, and then ask them to take a snapshot of what they did individually, send it back to me, and I will have stickers that I've downloaded on my phone to say, well done, congratulations, I see that you're making progress here. So basically giving them individual feedback so that they can move on to the next activity after I've seen what they've done. But we have zillions of challenges. You can imagine our kids coming from, disadvantaged background. It means they're not always going to have network. They're not going to they won't have sometimes this power cut because there's load shedding. So we have all sorts of challenges currently that we're trying to overcome, yet embrace this visual learning completely and fully and understand what it means to teach like this, because it doesn't mean that kids, because there's another argument that kids can't be forever engaged online. You've got to limit how much you do in terms of whether it's online, one-on-one teaching, where you're teaching and you record your lesson, or it's interactive. You got to limit it so that kids can completely almost like work independently on some kind of projects. So it's something we all trying, it's something new. We are taking one day at a time.
I can't agree with you more, Martha, because I do think that your high school students now, you have to actually really get the message across to them. They are, unfortunately, they have to now take a bit more responsibility for their own education at this stage. I don't think that you as a teacher can take that full responsibility because you can't see them. So it's very, very difficult. They have to actually want to study and learn themselves. Now, it's very interesting. My children are in a Afrikaans state school just up the road here, and the way they've approached it is so interesting because they've made videos, which they've now made available online for us in a Google Drive. And they've also started printing out the documents since they've been back at school now. And parents can pick up the hard copies with the planning of the work. So it makes it a bit easier if we have, as a parent, I think, some guidelines of where it's going. And I think that's one way you could help your students as well, is by saying, this is what needs to be covered this week. This is how we're going to cover it. If you are struggling with the work, this is what I'm going to explain, but this you need to understand. So I think it's important to set those parameters of what is expected for each week for the students so that they know where they're going. It's very difficult if they like just pitch up in a class and like, okay, so today it's volcanoes. They should have actually prepared, I think. And I think we need to maybe just help them with the planning and understanding where they're going. Who here is writing exams? I mean, are you even going to be considering doing exams soon?
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, yes.
Sorry, everyone. It's Celia. I've just been driving and I've just got a moment or two spare. Just on terms of what Martha has said, and as well as with Inka, just to give you some guidelines how we are teaching. I'm in an IEB school in Pietermaritzburg and Wickham. And just to give you an idea, we set the work roughly a week ahead. So we send out a guideline. We're working on the platform called Microsoft Teams. For the week, the work is set, and we're working a bit of team teaching. So in my department, one teacher is taking a particular grade, and we teach the whole grade rather than teach our own classes as such. And I'll come back to our own classes in a moment. And then that teacher sets the work, the guidelines. From there, we would set a PowerPoint with a voiceover. And what we're finding is that the PowerPoints must be five slides. It mustn't be a long PowerPoint. We've obviously found that. And then from there, giving them a number of tasks, worksheets, whether they are forms online, so it's instant marking for us, so that helps us, or if it is a bit of textbook, working from the textbook itself and actually getting them to mark their own work. And then towards the end of the week, what we tend to have is a Q&A session. So, right, ladies, what are your questions? Post your questions and then have a Q&A. We do record because one of our problems is we've got a lot of international students, and some of the international students don't have connectivity. And so the lesson is recorded for them to come back. I mean, I say that international students, I've got students who are in Underberg, for example, who also, electricity down today, we don't have access to Wi-Fi today, and obviously the recording of the lesson helps them. And then the beginning of the week, we would actually explain the concept we're going to work with, explain where they'll find everything. So everything's in a central point. That's also key, which we established was problematic because we think we know where everything is, but they don't know where everything is. So yeah, that's how we've been operating. And just one other thing is I did do a wonderful exercise in terms of using Play-Doh. It is on the website, SAGTA website, and we created your Mises and your Buttes out of Play-Doh, and that was very useful.
Oh, that's lovely. Who doesn't like playing with Play-Doh? Play-Doh. Thanks, Celia. Yeah, that's great. I think it also makes sense to put everything together. That's absolutely true. Okay, right. Is there anything else that you...
Can I just add something? You know, my daughter's teaching in Sharjah, and their principal did an online course during the first break because they went into lockdown long before us. And he went to do a Swedish online course. And they're doing basically, I think what Celia is saying is that the week is planned in advance, but there are daily summaries of a lesson plan. And if that's available, say, to parents and available, as you say, as that printed document, you're saying at the school, but even to the pupils, they've got a sense of they know where they're going to. And she said that's helped them a lot, is this forward planning. Not necessarily all your lessons are planned, but you've got a template you work from, and they've kept it very simple. And they've said less is more.
Yes, I agree. Absolutely. I also don't think we need to overdo it. Sorry, Gail, did you want to say something?
Yeah, just what Celia was saying is pretty much what we've been doing. We give the girls a work program. So we hand it out on the Friday, and it details what lessons we're going to have. Some of that we team teach, some of that we take our own classes. What we have found, which I'm sure we all know as teachers, is that girls don't read. So then they'll come back and go, what exercise, where was I supposed to find it? So especially our grade 10 seem to struggle, which I suppose if we think about it, they've only really come into the high school part. So what we've also landed up doing now is once we've finished the section, so say like geomorphology or whatever, we've provided revision questions, almost like this is what you need to know. And then within those revision questions, we've given quick answer questions that the kind of, you know, using some diagrams and that. And then also we found at the end of that, we actually, I heard Celia say, you know, when you wanted them to go and do a textbook exercise or something, they've lost track of where those memos are because we also use Teams. So then we gave them almost a checklist at the end of the section saying, right, go back. Did you complete page 5's answer? Did you check the memo? I think it's like you're saying, just the more help they give. And then also, yeah, we found we've had to decrease how much we're giving them. What you can do in a 45-minute lesson or 50-minute lesson in a class is completely different.
Yes, I agree.
Absolutely. Is what we've been doing as we've gone along.
Yes, no, absolutely. I totally agree with you. Okay, great. Thank you. Have you all used the topographic map downloaded? Do you all understand how it works as well?
Not me, sorry.
Not you.
Go through it because we might learn something here that we haven't thought of, or
Yes,
might help us.
I thought I'm just going to show you how it works because it's absolutely awesome. And I know there have been queries coming through on email as well. So if you go onto the SAGTA website, which looks amazing now, you'll see the teacher support, which has been given for free to everyone now. Now, I asked the question, who's a SAGTA member on that poll, which is very interesting to know. And you all are, thank goodness. So you'll always have that access, even after the free stuff have been taken away again. So here it tells you how it works, but it's very, very, very easy. And I'm going to quickly show you how. Let me just close some of these up here. So we can. Okay, so it's going to load it up when you click on it on a new web browser, and it's going to. It goes straight to Kimberly. Okay, it just loves Kimberly. So you can choose anywhere you want to choose. You can see where I've been playing around for the last few days. Let's just go to Pretoria. In any case, it tells you where you want to choose. Okay, so it's got your different options on the side here. Okay. So the important thing that you want to click on is okay, it's got Pretoria there, great. Okay, so it's located that. We can look at the different layers. So the different layers, that's also bringing your GIS into it. Your different layers is what do you want it to show you? Okay, so it's at the moment it's showing the street map. Okay, so it's not a topographic map. You can see that's just a plain street map. Okay, here you get to choose the other options. So you can choose the street map, which is what you would get in any atlas. You can choose the orthophoto, which is new and awesome. And there you can see the orthophotos and the Magaliesberg, which is just gorgeous, lying along there. If you just scroll a little bit further here, you'll see Hartbeespoort Dam as well. Okay, so that's your orthophoto, and then you get your 1 in 50,000 topographic map. And obviously, if you're showing this to the students, it's so exciting when you can show them how the contour lines are looking on the topographic map. And then when you show them the orthophoto, they can actually see the mountain range lying there. So there it is. And you can choose whichever one you want and whichever one you need. Okay, so let's go with the topographic map. It's going to be the one I think most of you will want to use. Okay. You can on it now measure, but this is if you're showing them online. If you want to measure anything, you can zoom in on this, obviously, and then you can go, well, right, from here's the CBD, let's go to the north of Pretoria. You can put your little line in there, and so you'll see it's about 7 kilometers. It calculates that for you, which is quite nice. So if you are online and you're trying to teach them the topographic stuff, you can play around on this itself. Okay, but you would probably want to just print what you want. So let's just close that one there. And when you click on the print button, okay, it pops this red block up for you. But we need to first decide what we want. Okay, so I think most of you will want to prefer printing in A4. I think it's going to be easier, but you can go A3, which is pretty big. For printing in color at a school. I'm not sure how your school feels about that. So you can choose what you want. So if it's an orthophoto landscape, I'm going to go on a landscape topographic because it feels more comfortable for me to work on that. Our scale is always going to be 1 in 50,000. So you can see how this red block has changed because that's the area that can be covered on that page. All right. We can put in our titles. I will put in Pretoria, and then you can choose how you would like to get it. For me, a PDF is the best. However, I've also used the JPEGs, and so you've got it as a picture. Your PDF is obviously easy for you to use. You move your block where you want it. Okay, so I want to get some of Pretoria in, but I want to get that Magaliesberg range in because I'm busy teaching inclined strata, and I want to tell them about the homoclinal ridge over here. So I'm putting it over the Magaliesberg for my grade 11s, and I'm going to print that one out as a PDF. So if you're showing them these things, you can obviously do it online. However, you can make them use the map them or download the map. No, you'll have to give it to them. Sorry, you'll have to email them the map. Right, and there it pops it up for you. It tells you if you now print it
Wow.
in A4, it's given you your map, it's given you your coordinates, and you've got your minutes over here, A, B, C, D, and then up to 7 as well, depending on how you placed it. So there's your homoclinal ridge, the Magaliesberg line through there, which is awesome, and you can now show them examples. Okay, so there's your topographic map, and it's lovely. And if you now need to set an exam, I just have to show you on your teaching resources, we have a very creative teacher, geography teacher, and she put this on for everyone, and it's pretty much, well, I just think it's awesome if you're doing the online stuff. If it'll just quickly download this prep for me. On the, oh, I just need to remember now, did you put it on the online resource? No, I think it's under tips and guidelines. Come on. Doesn't want to open it now, so it's dragging a little bit. Where did you put it? Pam, it's strange because it feels like some of the stuff moves sometimes. And I can't understand how it can move. It can't be under there. It must be under online resources. It was very clearly marked. Otherwise, I've saved it on my computer. I need to find it here quickly then. It doesn't want to open. I think when there's a lot of people, I hear the topographic map download has also been a bit slow. Just retry it, please, because Bridget was saying we have had record number of hits on it, and there's a lot of people on it, and that makes it a bit difficult for us all to be on at the same time. Okay, awesome. Right. I've got it over here. I'm just going to show you. I can't. It's on here. I'm just struggling to get this thing to open right now. So let me quickly show you here. This very, very creative teacher has created see-through instruments, which we can use on our maps, and they can move. So you can use it to measure, all right? It is there. She's called it MapWork Tools, and you can copy it, and you can go and put it onto your map. If you've downloaded this one as a PDF, you'll put it on here, and you can literally use it to measure. You cannot change the size of it, but if you put it on there, your students can online measure the actual distance. And you'll notice on this as well that it's got a protractor, which you can turn around and explain to them exactly how to do your bearing. And it's got an area block as well. Okay, so this is pretty awesome if you're using this to teach as well online. When you, I know it's really difficult to do map work online, so that helps. So there's your map and your topographic map downloaded. Has everyone clear on how that one works?
Yes, awesome. Sounds great fun.
I think it will help a lot if you're teaching, and then you're going to be able to do the real geography stuff, hey?
Yes.
Okay, great. Right, then just the last thing, where in the syllabus? Tabi, you had a question which you emailed me about where to be in the syllabus right now. As far as I think, you are the only person here at the moment who's at a state school, besides Gail, but you were asking where you should be in the syllabus. Did you get all the new information from the department on the new dates and the new requirements for the grade 12s? Let's just put your sound on there.
Okay.
Yes, I was saying I got the for the portfolios, for the files only, but not necessarily. I don't know if there's anything else. I only got information saying that I need, like, what I need for the portfolios.
Okay. Right. So if you've got to get the information from either the IEB or the government departments on what is required. I also know that the Pam, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there is a preliminary date sent out for exams as well. So you know where you're working towards and you can calculate how much time you have left. But if I'm not mistaken, I reckon you should probably be in about the settlement at the latest right now already.
Yeah, I'm not there. Okay.
I think you're going to have to, I think you'll have to go a little bit faster perhaps, so that you have enough time for revision at the end.
Okay.
Okay, do you have any other questions?
No, that's all. Thank you. That's all
Okay.
I have.
Toby is doing matrics for the first time this year, and now she has all these extra additional requirements and challenges, which is, I'm taking my hat off to you, Toby. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, right. Are there any other questions that anyone else would like to ask, or anything you'd like to share?
For me, Inik, I think I don't know how other people feel, but maybe moving forward, it would be nice to have more webinars like this one. Pick up a topic, let's say you were talking about mass movement grade 11 curriculum, and say, we will be sharing best practice online. Everyone comes in at a particular time, we talk like we did now. Took some minutes, notes, there are a few things that I can take back, and we share online, but it's part of teacher development. Look, in future, perhaps people can even pay for it. Now and then, you just have a platform, Pam, to do your map work, and say, look, we will be looking at map work online. It's going to be this kind of webinar. Everybody's going to participate. It's interactive, and these are the dates. For me, I will really appreciate it. It's part of teacher development, so that we don't wait for conferences and workshops to sit like this and chat and share best practice. And I think best practice is the best kind of personal development. If people can share what works for their school, what works for them when they teach a particular topic, not only matrics, we can have it for the even lower grades, starting with the grade 8s, moving up, and we do it online. And it doesn't cost you, you don't have to drive anywhere. You are online at a particular time, and as time goes on, can be run by SAGTA as well. As time goes, and we can even pay for it, and its development, it could throughout the whole year if we want to, different topics, different grades. Really, I think it's a great start. I really enjoyed it.
Oh yes, one last thing.
Yes.
I have one last question. The online tasks, how are people like doing the online tasks for the learners, just to see if they, are they using Google Forms only? I just wanted to hear how other people are doing it for the learners, the ones that you're going to use for assessment.
Someone who's teaching can answer that perhaps?
Well, for me, it depends on the kind of task you're referring to. So let's say a task where they have to complete an essay. That way, kids can work at home, do it Google, email it to you, type it out, email it to you, or and set it up in your Google Classroom, set it up as a task that kids can complete on the Google Classroom, collect it there. I think that's it. The difficult thing would be test. I don't think it's possible for you to do, unless you're doing an open test, which is not going to be recorded, but proper assessments when it comes to tests in grade 12, I don't think we can. But other forms of assessment tasks that you would have done it anyway, even if they were coming to school, you can continue with those ones, provided they can email it back to you in due time, or they can do it in the Google Classroom.
Yeah, no, I was asking for the other grades, because for the grade 12s, they're coming back, but the grade 8s and 9s are only going to come in much later.
It's the same thing. I think it's the same thing. In fact, it's easier for the lower grades. Whatever task that you are setting out for them, you give them. If you're using a learning, I don't know which learning management system you are using at your school. Like I said, using Google Classroom, you set out your task, you give them the due date, they submit it online. If you email addresses, they email you back the task.
Okay.
Is what I've done with activities in general, which we're not recording, will be do it on your WhatsApp, take a snapshot of your the actual task completed.
Yes.
Take a snapshot, send it to me, and immediately I'm able to either give back the memo to the child so they can mark it themselves and make,
Yes.
comments that I've realized this is going well, this is not going well. Then you're giving them continuous feedback. But
Okay.
everybody has access to emails. They should be able to email it back to you. If they can do it online, they should be able to get into your learning management system, do it online, submit it to you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Ma.
I think
Can
what I
I
was
say,
going to add, sorry, Tennille, I'll let you talk now. I think just what I want to add is it's not necessary to over-assess. We also need to understand the situation is slightly different. So we don't need to give tasks and work full marks every second. I think one is fine just to get an idea that they understand what's happening, but rather to
Yeah.
get them excited about learning and get through the work,
Mhm.
they're going to remember it, and that's fine then. Tennille, what did you want to say? Sorry, I see it's your first year teaching grade 12 as well. Oh my word, thrown in the deep end.
yeah, it's been interesting. I just wanted to, something we've been doing, you could use it either as a summary, like the end of some work content, or I did it as like a small task of my grade 9s for development. There's a website called Quiz-Iz, QUIZIZZ, I think, .com, and it's similar to Kahoot. I think I've heard Kahoot is more fun, but Quiz is you can again develop your own quiz, and then you can set it as a test. So what it does for each question, it only gives them 30 seconds. You can actually choose as a teacher how long you want them to take per question. But we found by limiting their time, they can't, it limits cheating. Or, potentially like have a student that hasn't bothered to go over the work and now they have this quiz and they think that they can just flip through their textbook and find it. So if you limit the time that they have, some of our kids have complained and said that it's not like a test and that they can't go back to the question. So some of them have said that that's a little bit tricky. They prefer to be able to go back to the question. So we haven't used it primarily as formal assessments or just as summaries and small tasks. But it's quite a nice platform. You can choose, multiple choice questions or tick box questions or one word answers for terms that you want them to know. So we've used that, and then it also, when you set it as a test, it automatically marks for you and sends you a report. And then, I did a grade 12 test the other day on rural settlements, and our kid, what we've been doing with them, although it obviously does depend on what access your children have, but we sent them a PDF document or a Word document of the test, but we uploaded to them only 10 minutes before. So they have 10 minutes to download it and kind of get themselves in order. Then we start a Zoom meeting so we can see all of their faces. And then they're kind of writing the test while we're watching them on Zoom. And then they have 15 minutes at the end of the period to upload it back up to us. So we actually very privileged. We have a software system that we just put in place. So all of our stuff comes back to us. But I mean, even if it's email. And so we kind of give them a time period limits, that's enough for them to finish the test, but not enough for them to be paging through their textbook trying to find answers. And then we've also tried to make our questions a little bit, maybe more to like middle to high order questions, just so that, it's not directly out of the textbook. It actually has to show understanding of the concepts.
That's important.
So yeah.
Awesome. Great.
That's great.
Yes, I think don't ask anything directly out of the textbook. Do application as much as possible. Yeah. Grace, is there anything you still wanted to add?
Thank you very much. I've been listening to a lot of what you say. I think we're in a unique situation in that about half of our learners have access to anything they want, and there are some learners who don't even have electricity. So we've been trying all sorts of things, leaving notes at a local supermarket, But we have been using Teams as our platform for those who can. I think whatever one does, I think it's important that one gives very individual feedback to each learner who submits something, that they know you're interested and you noticing that they didn't understand this or they grasp that, and you encourage them, and but it's going to be interesting to see how it all pans out, and because we've got such a diversity in our learners and what some have and what some don't have. So thank you very much, and this MapWork initiative is amazing. That's great, those people who developed it. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Grace. Right, Pam, is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, I'm fine here. I've enjoyed this, and I think we need more of these. I like the idea, Martha. I'm very happy to do map work, have some fun. But I'd also like to perhaps show you a workshop that I'm doing with teachers. It's still coming up. Obviously, lockdown shelved it, but it's almost like a virtual street transit, just looking at field work and just taking a simple intersection to intersection and analyzing, doing a settlement analysis. So maybe I'd like to show that to you at some stage too.
That would be wonderful.
Field work accessible
Great.
just outside of the schoolyard or wherever they live, and they can actually do it themselves. Looking at economic structures, why some things are closing down, some are not, and so on. So that's something in the pipeline, not just yet, but MapWork I'd love to help with.
Awesome.
That sounds great. Thank you, Pam. Well, thank you so much to everyone for joining.
Thank
you. So much fun.
To you.
Talk to that in the face, and I love that. So good luck with everyone. I think you've got very important challenges that you need to get right now.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicola.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Everyone.
I'll chat again.
Thank you, Nicola. Let's do it again.